Hello, blessings. Welcome to A Course of Love book gathering written by Mari Perron, first receiver. Um, this is an ongoing class, or a book gathering, not a class at all. Sorry. And so welcome to A Course of Love book gathering written by Mari Perron, first receiver. Welcome to come in or to listen later as you choose. Know that on the A Course of Love website, anyone who wants to join live, either to read or to chat after, or to just sit silently on the line is also okay. I'm fine with all of that. The link is on the A Course of Love website. So that's where you find the link. And all past recordings are on YouTube under Kimberly 8th Day, 8th Day. So those are the things I had to tell you. Tonight, we are on chapter 22. In my book, it's the second edition, so it's page 150. And it's called The Intersection. So, Course of Love, chapter 22, page 150. So far, it's me here. And if anyone else comes in, I'll check if they want to read. But I'm just going to jump right in. So, here we go. Chapter 22, The Intersection. We will talk much more of imagining now. And you may, at first, be resistant to this instruction. To imagine, welcome Ian. I am on. Good evening.
Yeah, I was just gonna say good evening.
Yes, good evening and welcome. We're on, I just began chapter 22, The Intersection. It's on page 150.
Okay, just to let you know, I'm gonna be leaving at 8:30.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Thank you for coming.
Okay.
Okay. You'll have the link for the videos, right, Ian? I sent you. You have the folder of
Yeah,
all the
okay.
videos.
I
So this one will go on there also. That's for everyone.
okay.
It's on YouTube at Kimberly 8th Day 8.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So I'm going to start over. We will talk much more of imagining now, and you may, at first, be resistant to this instruction. To imagine is too often associated with daydreaming, fiction, or make believe, and these functions are all prescribed to be for certain parts of your life. and for certain times that you deem appropriate. Please assure yourself, as I assure you, that now is an appropriate time, an essential time for such activity. Your thoughts regarding imagining and imagination will change with your change in perspective on use. You will no longer be using your imagination, but letting your imagination be of service to you. That's beautiful. We will be letting images serve as learning devices. They will enhance our use of language so that our language becomes one for both head and heart. We will begin by discussing the concept of intersection and look at it as a pass-through that establishes a partnership or relationship. While we have previously discussed relationship as not being one thing or the other, but a third something, we have not as yet discussed how this relationship is provided in form, but we will do so. Now we will do so. A prime image of this idea is provided by the axis. A line passes through a circle, and the circle revolves around the line or axis. Imagine a globe spinning around its axis. You know that the globe is representative of the earth. What you less frequently picture is the relationship between the globe and the axis, even though you realize the axis allows the globe to spin. A second and equally worthy image is that of a needle passing through material. Of itself, it can hold two pieces of material together. With the addition of thread passed through the eye of the needle, it can blind many parts in many different configurations. A needle can also pass through something like an onion, piercing many layers. While such a piercing has no intrinsic value in terms of purpose, for those who just joined, I'm beginning now the top of page 151, chapter 22, the intersection. A needle can also pass through something like an onion, piercing many layers. While such a piercing has no intrinsic value in terms of purpose, it provides an image of a straight line passing through not one, but many layers of another substance. Intersection is often seen as a division between rather than as a relationship among. The illustrations used here, however, concentrate upon a passing through rather than upon an idea of division. And they help to show that even what is divided by intersection remains whole. The image of intersection is simply meant to represent the point where the world intersects with you, where your path crosses that of others, where you encounter situations in your daily life, where you experience those things that cause you to feel or believe in a certain way. And it is at this point of intersection that not only relationship, but partnership is found. The partnership of axis to globe and of needle to thread, the partnership of axis to globe and of needle and thread to material is easily seen in these two examples. The partnership creates something that did not previously exist by providing a function and a purpose for each. In the case of the needle and the onion, partnership is less apparent because function and purpose are not apparent. Partnership is thus equated with productive intersection rather than intersection itself. Meaning is similarly interpreted. Intersections that create function and purpose are deemed meaningful. Intersections that seem to have no function or purpose are deemed meaningless. The act of passing through is, of itself, seen as of little consequence. Yet it is the passing through that creates the intersection. Everything within your world and your day must pass through you in order to gain reality. While you might think of this as everything outside of yourself, please, when thinking of this, use the words I have provided. Everything within your world. In the act of pass-through, You assign meaning to everything within your world. The meaning you assign becomes the reality of the object you have assigned meaning to. You have seen your purpose as one of assigning meaning to that which intersects with you in a given way that you deem as purposeful. Yet it is in the passing through that meaning occurs of itself. Further, it is the part of you through which everything within your world passes, and your awareness of it that determines the meaning you give it. You are much more like unto the layers of the onion than the globe, with everything within your world needing to pass through layers with a seeming lack of purpose for the passing through. You might think of the axis for a moment as a funnel through which eternity is poured, and a whole heart as that which can allow free pass-through of all that is provided. In contrast, the layered approach to intersection causes you to feel as if external forces are bombarding you. These forces must pass through one or another of your five senses, which you might think of collectively as layers, and are allowed no other access. These forces must then be directed. Often, great effort is expended keeping these forces from piercing your heart, the center of yourself. You instead deflect them using your mind, which might be considered another layer, to send them to various compartments, or continuing with the onion theme, to one of the various layers of yourself. These layers protect your heart, and a great percentage of them are involved with denial, with creating places where things enter and simply sit. These things are not really things, but are all that you have found no meaning for. Since your function is seen as assigning meaning rather than receiving meaning, that which you consider meaningless sits. That which you consider beyond meaning sits. You might imagine yourself as the creator of an unfinished dictionary, and all that is sitting as that to which you have determined you will, at some later date, get around to assigning meaning. The meaningless category might include such things as the happenings of your daily routine, chance encounters, illness, accidents, while in the beyond meaning category exists the relationship that broke your heart, grief, poverty, war, the events that seem to alter your destiny, the search for God. By using the word sit, I mean to imply that these things have not passed through you, and in the act of passing through, formed a relationship and a partnership with you. While passing through would seem to imply an entry and exit point, the relationship developed during the pass-through continues. Just as wind or water passing through an entry and exit point has an impact and emotion, so does what passes through you provide the movement of your journey. What passes through you is transformed by the relationship with you. What passes through you is transformed by the relationship with you.
Actually, I wanted to ask a question about what we just read.
Yes. Oh, I thought you meant you were going to leave. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, what's your question? Which part are you referring to?
I think it's 22:13.
Yeah.
He says by using the word sit, I mean to imply that these things have not passed through you,
Uh-huh.
and an act of passing through formed a relationship and a partnership with you. So what if they had passed through you, like the beyond meaning category? He says like a relationship that broke your heart, grief, poverty, war, and the meaningless category, chance, illness, chance encounters, accidents. What if they had passed through you? Like what is he implying that they what would the relationship be? Would they be meaningful? I don't know.
To me, this is if we back up a little further, he spoke of denial. So denial is denial of feelings. So whatever happens in he he emphasizes your world. So whatever happens, for example, to me in my world, I use myself for example. I ask myself, what is it in this? And I'm asking my feeling self, the divine feminine within me, what is it in me that is denied that I am seeing this? And whatever it is, would you allow the expression of this through me now? And I sit still and I allow this to pass through you. It will literally vibrate out of you. That's my experience. So, for example, if something hurts, he says disease. So, if something is hurting you, I would just go right. There are other ways of understanding this, and I know this. I know there are other books that teach about expressing feelings. This is my experience only that I'm speaking, and those books are absolutely true. They're absolutely correct, and their approach also. And they're the first approach. The book I'm speaking of, not to get into a whole other book here. I can't find it here. Well, maybe it's not right here with me, so it's not maybe the appropriate. Oh, it's the Right Use of Will book. It's that series. Right Use of Will. Do you know about those books, Ian?
Actually, no.
Okay.
Is it no, I haven't heard of that. I mean, actually, someone mentioned the name of the book like a month ago, but I've never read it.
Yeah. Is if you do read it, you start with the first one and read it very slowly and feel every sentence and let each one pass through. So the reason why I read this book slowly is to allow the words to pass through, to sink in without resistance. In other words, we don't put up resistance like, oh, I don't want to hear this. Like we could even be subconsciously feeling it. I'm really not wanting to be here. I'm not really wanting to hear this. So it's preventing a pass through. There might be something that's being read that maybe I would have a denial. I'm denying my feelings about. And so I'm not letting it pass through. I don't want to hear it, is my idea. Do you understand? So,
Yeah, sort of. But actually, one other interesting point he made was when he was giving the example with the needle and thread versus the needle and the onion. He said the needle and thread because it has a purpose, like a purpose to create like some kind of clothing or
right,
whatever. Because it has
right,
a purpose, we derive meaning from it. But if we pass a needle through an onion because it doesn't have any like practical purpose, we
right.
don't derive meaning. He says like it doesn't matter. Whatever passes through has meaning. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's like
It,
when you just meet a random person for no reason. And
yeah.
anyways, whatever.
No, you're right. It's never random. There's a like every person you sit next to in an airline, there is a reason that one is sitting next to you. You know, there's a reason for. So there's no coincidences in life. There's no coincidences you're here. There's no coincidence you found this book. So this book speaks to your heart already. So, and it's good that you want to understand, but the understanding of this book is not always an intellectual understanding. The understanding will come through your own experiences, and the understanding is like an understanding of you through your heart.
Yeah, that's
And
what he
if
meant with the when he used the needle and the onion because it doesn't have a practical purpose, but it's got some purpose, and
yeah,
that purpose is known by the heart, right?
yeah, in the scripture, it says in Ephesians that the eyes of understanding be enlightened for all that God has for them. That's the eyes of our understanding. That's only available in our heart, in unity and in allowing pass through. And oftentimes when we allow the pass through, or if we're having a little pain and we ask, can you help me to vibrate, to express this, whatever it is that I'm denying? I don't even need to know. I don't always know what it is or why I denied it. I'm very honest about it. I don't know why I did it, but I do know that I'm willing to express it now that I know better and I have some understanding in my heart, you know, like the understanding, is that I know I need to express everything or allow it to pass through me, you know, not to say, oh no, no, I'm not going there. You know what I mean? You hear that a lot, probably. I know I have anyway. People around me say, no, no, I'm not going to go there. That is total, there is a denial hidden.
Well,
So,
it depends how traumatic the thing is.
yeah, well, whether it's traumatic or not traumatic, there's always some sort of denial. That has been my experience.
Yeah,
Every,
I mean, and
yeah,
at various points in the book, he says we deny it because we don't understand it, and
yeah,
therefore we fear it because we don't understand what happened, so we put it in the unconscious.
yeah,
It's stored away in the unconscious. Anyways, I've got to get going. But were you gonna keep reading even
yeah.
though you were
Thank
you
you,
were?
Ed. Yeah, I'm going to keep reading, and the video will
But the
be
thing is,
later
like, and you want to have like a discussion about what you read.
tonight. At the end, if you're still here, I'm not quite at the end yet. I mean, we're having one now. Is there something else?
I mean, like,
Go
okay,
ahead.
but you just gonna read it just by yourself.
Sure.
Okay.
We're never alone. There's only ever one of us here anyway. The rest is an illusion, dear heart. But anyway, if you'd like to stay and chat longer, go ahead. What is it that you need to know? What is it that you want to chat about right now? And I'm not saying I know all the answers either. But if you put your question out there, the answer will come to you. That I know. The answer will come.
Yeah, I've got to go now, but yeah, maybe next week we can discuss the chapter if you're
Sure.
open to it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. We usually do that at the end of the reading. But
Yeah,
doing
well,
it in the middle.
There's no one here. There's no one else here tonight.
Yeah, but then it's still being recorded. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, so as I said, I will continue to read this chapter when we finish it. So I'm gonna back up a little bit because I don't remember where I was. When you remove, I'm starting on 2215 at the bottom of page 152. When you remove yourself from the self-held position of meaning giver, you let things be what they are and allow to be what they are. Their meaning is naturally revealed. There it is. There it is. I'll repeat that part. This is for you, Ian, when you go back and listen to the tape. When you remove yourself from the self-held position of meaning giver, you let things be what they are and allow to be what they are. Their meaning is naturally revealed. What this takes is a passive approach and a relinquishment of the idea of bringing things to a stop where they can be examined under a microscope, quite apart from their relationship to you or to anything else. Imagine yourself brought to such a halt and examined from everything else within your world. Anyone wanting to learn anything about you would be wiser to observe you as you are within your world. Would you still be the same person in a laboratory? Are you still who you are when another takes you into his or her mind and assigns meaning to you? You have made of yourself a laboratory where everything you have made of yourself a laboratory where you bring everything for examination, categorization, testing, and filing away. This is a scenario that separates you from everything else within your world. Everything has meaning only according to what it means to you and not as what it is. This part is so true. Everything has meaning only according to what it means to you and not as what it is. I will share one little thing here from what Ian and I were discussing. When I've allowed pass through, even on things that I previously may have denied, it was never for the reason I thought. I think the Course of Miracles says you're never upset for the reason you think. I would add, you also aren't always denying for the reason you think. So, obviously, two kinds of meaning are being talked about. The first we talked of earlier as the finding of truth. The second is what we are talking of here, the finding of a definition, a personal meaning. Can you see the difference? The personal and the individual is the I we are dispelling. Think a moment of how you told a story or a report on events that have taken place within your life. You personalize. You are likely to report on what a certain set of circumstances meant to you. This kind of thinking is thinking with the small I. I saw, I felt, I thought, I did. The individual, personal, separated self is at the center of all such stories. One quite literally cannot conceive of the story without the I. Yet this you must learn to do, and this task is given you as an exercise. Begin to imagine life passing through you rather than getting stopped for examination at its intersection with you. Begin to imagine seeing the world without the emphasis of your personal self. Begin to form sentences and eventually to tell stories without the use of the I pronoun. This will seem at first as if it is depersonalizing the world and making it less intimate. It will seem as if you were shirking some primal responsibility to assign meaning to everything. Rather than resisting this, strive to cease giving meaning. Start quite simply. Go from the broad to the specific. For example, when you walk out your door in the morning, you might generally think, what a lovely day. What this sentence says is that you have immediately taken in your surroundings and judged them. It is a lovely day to you. The day has all or most of the requirements you find pleasing in a day. Replace such a thought with, the grass is green, the birds are singing, the sun is warm. Simple reporting. When you are asked questions such as, how's your day? Respond as much as possible without the word I or my. Quit referring to people and things in terms of ownership, saying, my boss, my husband, my car. This removal of the personal I is but a first step to returning you to the consciousness of unity. A first step in going beyond meaning as definition to meaning as truth. As odd and impersonal as it will seem at first, I assure you the feeling of impersonality will be replaced quickly with an intimacy with your surroundings that you have never felt before. This intimacy itself will allow you to see yourself as an integral part of all that exists within your world, rather than as a small and insignificant personal self you generally accept as yourself. By eliminating the personal, the universal becomes available. I read that part again. By eliminating the personal, the universal becomes available. As the universal becomes available, you will have no desire for the personal. Even so, you will find that what you consider your individuality or uniqueness is very much intact, but that it is different than you have always imagined it to be. You will find that you fulfill a grand purpose and have a wonderful part to play in a grand design. You will not feel cheated by losing your separated self. You will feel free. Welcome, Linda.
Hello.
So I just finished reading chapter 22, which is ended on 154.
I opened to that page exactly. Isn't that amazing?
That's what I mean. There are no coincidences. How beautiful. Well, you're right on the perfect page. Shall we continue to chapter 23 then?
I think we should.
Thank you, and thank you for joining. We had a few pop on and off earlier, and so we'll just go ahead. Would you like to go first? Would you like to read?
Um, let's see. Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Okay. All right. It's just you and me and the entire world. Chapter 23, The Freedom of the Body.
I love the
Knowing?
sound of that. Sorry.
No, go ahead. What did you say?
I love the sound of that, the freedom of
Mhm.
the body.
Oh, wow. Well, let's see what it has in store for us.
Yes.
Knowing and love are inseparable. When this is realized, it is obvious that love is the only true wisdom, the only true understanding, the only true knowing. Love is the great teacher, and your loving relationships, the means of learning love. Aha.
Mm.
The lessons learned from love will go a long way in assuaging your remaining fears about the loss of your individuality that you believe will accompany the loss of your separated self. For as each of you has found, as you have loved another, the more you love and long to possess a loved one, the more you realize that your loved one cannot be possessed. While in a love relationship, the greatest knowing is sought and, with willing partners, attained. One's partner in such a relationship still transcends complete knowing. The relationship becomes the known. While it is your nature to seek for more, it is also the nature of life to exist in relationship and to become known through relationship. This is how knowing comes to be. Knowing through relationship is not a second best situation. It is how life is. It is how love is. Thus, while your partner in love transcends total knowing, this too is how it is. Ah, yeah, makes sense. How it is meant to be. Love inviolate. Each of you is love inviolate. Mm. Yet, relationally, you may be able to read each other's thoughts, be cognizant of the slightest switch in mood, and finish each other's sentences. You know the other would lay down his or her life for you, rise to any occasion of your need, share your every fear and joy. Non-partnered love also shares in knowing through relationship. The loved one may be on the other side of the country, separated by distance or previous choices or past hurts, and yet a relationship continues. In both partnered and non-partnered love relationships, the one you come to know, the only one who does not transcend total knowing, is yourself. Okay. The same is true of your relationship with God. As in any love relationship, the desire to know God can be all consuming. Yet while God transcends knowing, your relationship with God is how you know both God and yourself. Let me remind you of a key learning aid discussed some pages back. You would not be other than you are. No matter how much you grow to love another, that love does not cause you to want to be the other person. That love causes you to want to have a relationship with the other person. This should tell you something about the nature of love. When obsessively in love, you may want the other person to be you, but rarely the other way around. This is what has caused you to make God over in your own image and to try to do the same to others. This comes of seeing oneself as an image rather than as a being existing in relationship. This comes from ego rather than from the true self. What you long for is reunion. Yet, reunion too is relationship, because union is relationship. Imagine a crowd of people in a small room. This is not relationship. When you are tempted to think of relationship having to do with physical proximity, think of this example. Okay. Now imagine communities of faith. Around the world, people are united in belief, and not only in religious belief. Ideology, politics, profession unite people. Quote unquote parties and quote unquote associations are formed to foster the idea of unity through shared belief. They are not necessary, as seen by the reality that they only form after the fact. The belief fosters the form, and the form is then meant to foster the belief. Okay. This is true of the body as well. Think of the way in which the word body is used, and this will be clear. The body politic, the body of knowledge. Belief fosters the form, and the form is meant to foster the belief. Thus, belief and form have a symbiotic relationship. Understanding of this loving relationship can help you to experience freedom of the body, which is an extension in form of your belief in the personal I. Belief fosters union. Union does not foster belief. because in unity, belief is no longer required. Belief fosters the union of atoms and cells into the form required by the belief in the separated self. I have to read that again. Belief fostered the union of atoms and cells into the form required by the belief of the separated self. Belief of another kind can foster the creation of form of another kind. If form is an extension of belief, you can see why what you believe is critical to how you live with form. We are speaking here of ways of thinking similar to those which you term in induction and deduction. In the past, exercises have most often begun with an alteration of beliefs regarding form. Here we have taken an opposite approach, beginning with exercises to alter your belief in your identity and concluding with exercises to alter your belief in form. This is consistent with our primary focus of learning from the heart. The mind goes from the small to the large, the heart from the large to the small. Only the wholehearted see the connection of all. I'll repeat. Belief of another kind can foster the creation of form of another kind. A wholehearted belief in the truth of yourself is what is required to cause this to be so. It is what is necessary now. It will change the world. Belief of another kind is what miracles are all about. It is what you are all about as a miracle worker. For you to change your beliefs is the miracle that we are after, the result we seek from this course. I have to read it again. For you to change your beliefs is the miracle that we are after, the result we seek from this course. Obviously, your belief in who and what you are is the basis for your entire foundation, a foundation previously built on fear. Clearly, belief in the body was easily translated into a belief in the validity of fear. When you are free from this misperception, this inaccurate belief, your body will be freed. It will no longer be an object of use, but a means of service. Freeing your perception from your nearly immutable belief in form will allow for all changes in form required by the miracle. Form is not a constant, but a result. While you believe that belief is the result of form, it is not. Form is the result of belief. Oh my God. Thus, belief is not only capable of changing form, but also is necessary in order to do so. Wow.
That's
History
big.
has shown you that what you believe is possible becomes possible. Science has proven the link between researcher and research findings. Still, you find it difficult to believe that what is possible depends upon what you can imagine being possible. You must cease to see the difficulty and begin to see the ease in which you can imagine. You see the ease with which what you can imagine becomes reality. You have no capacities that do not serve you because they were created to serve you. The ability to imagine is such a capacity, freely and equally given to all. Imagination is linked to true vision, for it exercises the combined capabilities of mind and heart. It is akin to perception and can lead the way in changing how you perceive of yourself and the world around you. Beyond imagination is the spark that allows you to conceive of what never was conceived of before. This spark is inspiration, the infusion of spirit, taking the creation of form backward. It leads to this conclusion. Spirit precedes inspiration. Inspiration precedes imagination. Imagination precedes belief, and belief precedes form.
Oh, wow.
Spirit is your more direct link with the one source. Spirit is directly from the source, while form is a byproduct of spirit. Thus, form is once removed, yes, or further away from the source. And again, working backward, however, the form you have created is still a step necessary in the return to the source. The necessary step is that of moving beyond form, recognizing and acknowledging form for what it is, and then continuing on, working backwards to change your belief, to allow imagination to serve you and spirit to fill you. You can then move forward again, taking form beyond its given parameters and becoming a miracle worker. May I continue? Is
Yes.
it okay? Thank you.
Yes.
The body encompasses or holds the belief. Okay. It is the composite of your beliefs, the totality. It will continue to hold former beliefs as well as new beliefs until old beliefs are purged. The purging of old beliefs frees space for the new. It allows your form to reflect what and who you are now in terms that coincide with the you whom you have always been. There is no quick route to this purging, and it is the most individual of accomplishments. As you learned your beliefs, you must unlearn your beliefs. As you begin to the process of unlearning, you may feel tested. You are not being tested, but given opportunities for unlearning. To learn that a previously held belief is no longer valid is the only way to truly purge that belief. To learn that a previously held belief is no longer valid is the only way to truly purge that belief. These learning opportunities call for a period of engagement with life. Many of you will have begun to experience unlearning opportunities even while you study, even while your study of this course may have led you to turn inward and attempt to disengage from life. A period of engagement with life cannot be avoided, however, and your attempts to avoid it will only cause an increase in feelings generated by experiences of duality. While you hold conflicting beliefs within you, you will be conflicted and affected by polarity. But unlearning allows you to purge the old beliefs so that only one set of beliefs is operative within you. This is the only route to the certainty you seek and leads to true conviction. True conviction cannot be attained without this experience of unlearning and purging.
Mm.
All unlearning opportunities are opportunities for miracle readiness. There is no trick to identifying unlearning opportunities. From this point forward, I assure you, all experiences will be thus until unlearning is no longer needed. If you will remember that the one exercise for your mind is dedicating all thought to union, you will keep your mind engaged and less resistant to unlearning. Okay. When you feel resistance, and of course your mind will resist unlearning what it has striven to learn, return your dedication to union. Acknowledge your mind's resistance as a sign that unlearning is going on. Acknowledge it, but do not engage it. What will happen when you look at each situation as a challenge to, what will happen when you look at each situation as a challenge to your beliefs? What will happen? If you do not remember that you are involved in a process of unlearning that will lead to the conviction you have so long sought, you will indeed feel tested and will try to take control of the learning situation.
Linda,
Yes.
can you slow down just a little bit so I can get it? Please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Would you like me to start in a particular place?
23, 26. Is that where you?
Yes, that's where I
Yeah.
stopped. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's fine.
What will happen when you look at each situation? This is a question. What will happen when you look at each situation as a challenge to your beliefs? If you do not remember that you are involved in a process of unlearning that will lead to the conviction you have so long sought, you will indeed feel tested and will try to take control of the learning situation. Not taking control, however, is the key to unlearning. What you term as being in control is simply another way of saying acting on old beliefs. As long as you attempt to remain in control, old beliefs will not be purged. Attempting to exert control over learning situations is a reflection of belief that you have nothing to learn. An attitude of openness is required for unlearning and new learning both. Control opposes openness. Control opposes openness. Mastery comes through the process of both unlearning and learning anew. This is but another way to state that which was stated in A Course in Miracles. Resign as your own teacher. The desire to control is the desire to remain your own teacher and or to choose your teachers and learning situations. Neither can occur if you would truly choose to change your beliefs and move on to the new and the truth. Looked at in another way, this process has much in common with forgiveness. The action associated with it raises it to a level similar to that of atonement. It is an undoing accompanied by a new means of doing. In the process of unlearning, both forgiveness and atonement occur. You recognize that your false beliefs were the result of faulty learning. As unlearning is replaced with new learning or by new learning, judgment falls away as your innocence is established. Can a child be found guilty when the child has not yet learned that which is needed for right action? You might ask, how do you learn what you have failed to learn previously? What are the lessons? What is the curriculum? How will you know when you have achieved a learning objective? Yet, how can you become a master of what another would teach? Of lessons another would select? Your life must become your teacher, and you, its devoted pupil. Here is a curriculum designed specifically for you, a curriculum only you can master. Only your own life experiences have led to the learning you have accumulated and translated into beliefs. Only your own life experiences will reverse the process.
Oh, wow. How do you feel, Linda, from this chapter? Is there anything wanting to be shared?
Maybe you could offer something first. I'm still processing.
Yeah, I know. This chapter is like all of them. It's so full. The big takeaway here, I mean, it's all a big takeaway, or a big giving to, is is on 2327, page 159. Resign as your own teacher. This is so powerful to me, this sentence, because in the doing this, the teacher within becomes like the most, it's always been there, but it shows up, this presence within you, within us all. It shows up as the most loving teacher in day to day, moment to moment life that you can ever imagine. This, resign as your own teacher. When I truly do this, I'm in awe 24/7 of the wisdom that comes through, of the things it helps me catch. She helps me catch. Of the transformation occurring. She's got you in every circumstance, in every moment, even when there have been times I thought, no way, I can't go on. I can't do this anymore.
Hmm.
She pulled me out. She totally pulled me out. Not only she, but also the Father. What is within us? This treasure, what our teacher before, William, called the inner splendor. Oh, Linda, what an inner splendor it is. I just have to share this, because it's so close to my heart. That's all I can say right now. It's just so much love within us all.
Wow.
And help beyond your wildest dreams. There's help available. It's like a mothering presence who does not leave you an instant, always with you, always ready, always there, always offering, always helping, always loving. It's it's beautiful, truly beautiful. I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
No, I'm just supporting what you're calling to our attention. I don't think there's anything more that needs to be said. Um, it just I hope that this sharing goes out wide, far and wide, because it can be a salve to many people, you know, who are
So,
feeling the opposite. And I totally agree. And it sounds like you're living it, even when there are testing or challenges. When
Oh
you feel,
yes, and there have been. I
yeah,
won't lie to you, there have been. Because this unlearning needs to occur,
mm-hmm,
and it has, but
mm,
the love underneath it
mm,
is always present in helping you through the hurdle to see what it is you haven't been seeing. And once you see it and feel it
mm-hmm,
more than anything, allow this pass through that it talked through in the previous chapter. Allow this pass through. Just miracles. Just
mm-hmm,
miracles.
yeah,
Truly. This is the self. It is. It is the self the world needs.
mm-hmm,
And it's right within each one's own heart, within each one's own self, not the little self, but the self, the grand self, your Christ self. That's where it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an example from your life recently, that you want to share to
I just
inspire?
did.
Okay. You
Yeah.
shared it in the abstract, but I appreciate that testimony. Yeah, yeah. Challenges come up, unlearning is present,
Yeah.
and
And learning must happen.
yeah,
And so,
yeah.
yeah, I will go back and reread this chapter. This chapter is so important
They
because
all
this
are.
this chapter, I'm sorry.
I said they all are.
Yeah,
It turns out they reinforce each other in I
yeah.
yeah.
But this one is a practical, on practical level,
Mm-hmm.
I feel.
Okay.
Your day-to-day life,
Hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
how to handle situations. And, if you really read it closely, he really does show you, okay, do this, not this, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it will help you release things faster, you know? So, it's not easy all the time. Sometimes it is, but it's very worth it, very worth it to have that peace within you of always, you know, I don't know if you know it, but I used to know it, that feeling of, is this the right thing to do or that the right thing? Always in the head, always in the mind, in the little self. And that constant, you know, and if I'm not careful, you know, that could still come up. I have to be very careful and watching the mind and correcting. He says to offer our thought to unity. That's a beautiful tool. So you offer our thought to unity. And then, as things come up, that feeling of not knowing what to do, you're guided. You're no longer the one. And because you're guided, because you're guided by this presence within you, everything turns out for your highest good because it can't do otherwise because of what's guiding you. This is the wisdom of God guiding you. You know, you can't mess it up if I allow this presence within me to be the one to make the decisions to navigate this world. What do I do? I'm constantly asking, what do I do? What now? You know, and I get it right then what to do. You know what? And sometimes it's so mothering. Have a cup of tea and sit down, you know, and she just wash you with the vibration. It can be as gentle as that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, it encourages to nurture the self more, has been my experience. Not always, you know, we're taught, especially in spiritual groups and circles, to give to others all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we can, if we are coming from an empty well, we are not. How are we giving from that? Truly,
Right. Right.
that you know, if we're coming from a full well, we are ourselves full of compassion and self-love and self-nurturing. Of course, that's what happens is it overflows to everybody naturally.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like it's so much of a doing in it. This is my experience, you know what I'm sharing.
Mm.
This
Yeah.
is not this is not a scripture or anything, you know.
This is
This
not a
is
what?
it's not I'm not telling this is not a scripture where I'm saying to you. It's not like this is scripture to me. You know, it's another form of scripture. Some books are this way.
Mm-hmm.
And but this is my personal experience from the book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this has always been in me. It didn't come to me because of the book, but it's removing
Mm-hmm.
everything from me so it can be revealed to me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
what is in me. And then it, you know, you allow it to help you and it helps you in your day to day, moment to moment, what to do, you know, every small thing to every large thing. There is no thing too small or thing too big to God. That
What
too.
union is about.
Yes,
Living in union.
yes.
Yeah.
And so when we extend whatever we receive, then whoever else within our union
Mm.
is experiencing this will also experience a bit of relief
Mm-hmm.
or a bit of nurturing or whatever it is that we extend. You know, you just take a moment. I dedicate this feeling to all, you know, this nurtured feeling or this self love or whatever that you're guided. You know, you follow your guidance, your own inner guidance. You have it. We all have it. And it, like he said in this chapter, it's individual for each of us according to our own life, you know?
That's very important.
Yeah. So that's why we follow our own, uh, you know, because it's going to tell us for our own life how to navigate from here
Right.
until it's all released and we're free, you
Right.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Then we're just beaming Christ and you know we walk by and people are healed and you know these kinds of miracles all read them this anyway
I'm glad
let's
I was guided to to look at my clock, my watch, and jump on because it was as it was supposed to be.
Thank you, Linda. Did you have anything to share?
Wow. Um, no, I every chapter to me reinforces a few concepts. So they're familiar, a familiar message in the one that I jumped on for. I'll go back and read the previous chapter. But what I guess I can share is that there is something in my mind, in my belief, about the power of this book, the power of the words of this book, and the lessons in this book that is making itself manifest in my day-to-day life. I
Beautiful.
it I mean in very big ways, and it's not particularly important that I go, oh, this scripture is the key. It just let it do its thing.
Mhm.
Let it do its thing. Don't try to, I'm trying not to
Yeah.
be too attached, but just let it work
Yes.
within me, within
Yes.
us, within all, because it's not for me alone. It's Why would it be? It's for everything and everyone. Um,
Yes.
and I'm actually fully confident that miracles have, are, and will occur when beings come together to be in the presence of what this is, the power of this. I knew that it would be true, and I'm very grateful. There's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on that is that the illusion of it is that it's in opposition to A Course of Love, which is why I love A Course of Love,
Yeah.
because it's true, and it's an anchor for me, and I appreciate it. Thank you for making me aware of it. Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Mm.
What you said is that I feel is that the same. This book is to be allowed.
Mhm.
Allow the words to pass through. That's why for me, I have to read this book slowly. Sorry for that. But I need because I want to feel every word, you
Mhm.
know.
We have
Just
different pacing. We definitely have different
yeah.
pacing. So I'm happy to try to read more slowly. I
I'm
can't
just like that in
understand.
general. I'm real
Yeah.
slow about everything.
No, no, no. There's no slow, there's no fast, right?
Yeah.
Nothing. I understand better at the pace, at my pace, but I understood very well. Um, yeah, I was doing the reading, and that's what made the difference. I could control my understanding,
Mm.
my pacing, and pausing between sentences I found also to be helpful. The silence between the sentences is important to me. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Even the spaces, we
Hmm.
know this from other teachings. The spaces on a page
Oh, yeah. Yes.
are fullness. They they're not just places without words,
That's right.
you know.
Oh, definitely. We've learned this from
Yes,
our past experiences. Yes.
yes. And
Yeah.
so allowing space between each sentence to just let it
Yeah.
ah. So we enter into that space, you know. I could feel myself filling up
Hmm.
in those spaces, you know. Um, but if I just keep reading, I learned this when I read A Course in Miracles. It's so there's so much material there. There's so much talking about the material everywhere. I had to turn everything off and just sit down and by myself, and I would
Mm-hmm.
read it before bed, and
Mm-hmm.
I would read it very slowly. And I realized when I just would do that and read it slowly and really just do one lesson at a time, and then I would listen to a meditation of that lesson while I slept,
Mm-hmm.
let it go in subconscious even more.
Mm-hmm.
But um, but I realized when I would read really slowly, which I normally would do anyway with other books, um, I just got a deeper understanding. Like if for me, if I read too fast, it's like a blur. You know, it's like what?
Mm-hmm. I
What is
think
that?
I,
You
I
know?
I just think we really have to acknowledge that there are different pacings,
Yeah.
and this is a program that you've designed, uh,
No,
and
no, I didn't design. We
it
just
was
are all
designed.
reading together.
Well, never. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, it's just it really there is a difference when I'm listening for absorption. If I'm listening to something on YouTube, I might increase the speed because that's my pace.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will be cognizant of the gentle pace.
Yeah, for me, I'm the opposite. I always slow 'em down.
Very quickly. Yeah.
That's so
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
We're on here together. That's so cute.
It's like right, like the heart of a bumblebee, the heart of an animal that lives 400 years, like a turtle, just don't different pacing for
Yeah.
absorption. It's wonderful. It's
Well,
wonderful.
thank you for your reading tonight. And so, for anyone who is listening, we later on the tape, this is A Course of Love by Mari Perron that we have been reading from. And all previous recordings are on YouTube in a folder of A Course of Love. There are some other goodies there too if you're interested. And the channel is Kimberly Apes Dead. And if you go to A Course of Love, if you're watching this on tape and you'd like to join live, you maybe would like to just sit in and not say anything, that's fine. Or you would like to join and read and join us in chat, anything you want to do, that's fine. And you can find the link to join on the Course of Love website under Monday nights. So that's all there is. And so blessings, everyone. And thank you for listening whenever you listen. And thank you for joining those who joined tonight. Thank you all. And thank you, Linda. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ian,